This News for Tucson, live at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Mangura. Danelle Confair has the weekend off. Well, looking out your window, you might have seen snow sticking to the ground this morning. Blankets of white powder covered several parts of southern Arizona. Check out this video here of the snow at Sabino Canyon. The desert cacti and mountains covered in snow. Definitely not a sight that we get to see here often. And taking a look at this view, viewer Greg McCown sent us these photos today. A winter wonderland in Reddington Pass. Dozens of saguaros there covered in snow. He said the area was filled with people who drove their 4x4 trucks out there to play out there in the mud and snow. And finally, we can't forget, of course, about Mount Lemmon. Early this morning, the Pima County Sheriff's Department announced the Catalina Highway was closed down due to the weather. It was opened shortly after, only to be closed down once again this evening. Officials say that the road to Mount Lemmon is only open to residents and employees at this time. So with that, let's head over to meteorologist Daniel McFarland, who has a lot more photos from our viewers from today's snow. Daniel.
Mark, we got so many great photos from everyone, and there's a few I want to show you, especially those that are a little bit lower down than those mountains out there. So the foothills is right around 3,000 feet or so, and they saw plenty of snow, and John sent in this great picture of more cacti out there with plenty of snow. Thank you so much. And down near Vail, Angela was able to catch this over her pool where there were some big flakes. So whenever you see those bigger flakes, that tells you that those clumps are sticking together, and it shows up on cameras much, much better. So since Vail is just a little bit lower elevation than the foothills, it looks very nice there. And Oracle is, of course, a little bit higher elevation, so they saw even more snow. Another great one of the desert, Michael. Thank you so much, everyone, for sending in your pictures earlier today. But as of right now, most of it has wrapped on up. There's a couple small areas where rain is still trying to sneak through some places. But for most of you, you are done. You're not expecting any more good chances of rain until we get to about Tuesday, and I'll be talking about that in just a minute. So this front still trying to make its way through the area. Windy conditions are going to be our big thing we're talking about tomorrow, Mark, along with those temperatures. And I'll be talking all about that in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Now, while the road to Mount Lemmon is shut down at this time, residents up there are hoping that the rare snowfalls give their businesses one last push before summer. Now, the weather not only brings up more people to the mountain, but it adds an additional safety net and brings more moisture to our area. Jenny Zimmerman, president of the Mount Lemmon Business Association, says that the weather will be a crucial cushion for the start of summer and wildfires.
We're in big water shortage right now. And then we have all the businesses, the new businesses coming, the hotel, and then we have the Mountain Lodge, which is coming next year.
Now, it's unclear exactly how the roads up to the mountain will look overnight and into the morning, but you can call the Pima County Road Closure Hotline at 520-547-7510. Now, turning to the vaccine rollout. Here in Pima County, over 341,000 doses have been administered. 20.4% of the population in Pima County is now vaccinated. That includes everyone who has received one or both doses, and more than 135,000 people are fully vaccinated in the county. Now, statewide, nearly 871,000 Arizonans have received both shots. A little over 21% of the population has been vaccinated, and more than 2.3 million doses have been administered across the state. Now, the massive COVID relief bill was signed into law just 2 days ago, but this weekend Americans started receiving those checks, some totaling thousands of dollars. Now, this first wave of direct payments going to qualified Americans who filed tax returns that linked their bank accounts to the IRS, but the rollout of deposits, paper checks, and debit cards is expected to take weeks.
We're going to be traveling the country to speak directly to the American people about how this law is going to make a real difference in their lives.
To track your check, the IRS says its website will provide daily updates with its Get My Payment feature. The Tucson community is mourning the loss of former Mayor Bob Walkup. The news was confirmed by his son Jonathan in a social media post this morning. Mayor Walkup lost his battle to idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. He was elected to serve for 3 terms as mayor from 1999 to 2011. And there's no doubt that he left a long-lasting impact on his community. Officials from across the state and the aisle are all remembering his life and service. Current Tucson Mayor Regina Romero is reacting to the news, saying, in part, quote, Mayor Walkup was a born statesman and always strived to create the best Tucson possible. Our city is better because of him. She went on to say his leadership on economic development, water security, and transportation was instrumental for Tucson's strong recovery out of the Great Recession. News 4 Tucson spoke with Mayor Walkup back in December. He had just celebrated his birthday. His health was failing him, but he was still flashing his contagious smile. Today, we take a look back on his life. At age 84, Walkup required oxygen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He had been diagnosed with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
That means my lungs are forming scar tissue. And that means my genes somewhere back in Scotland. So somewhere back in Scotland, I got a little gene because my brother has that problem, my father had that problem.
After graduating from Iowa State University, Walkup served in the Army Corps of Civil Engineers. Then he worked in the aerospace industry for 35 years.
I built the A-10s for Fairchild. This was my job.
In 1999, Walkup entered the world of politics, pulling off something no Republican had done since 1983. He was elected mayor of Tucson.
I'm still a Republican. I'm a McCain Republican. I'm a Republican that cares about other people.
Walkup worked hard to be everyone's mayor.
I do not make decisions based upon an ROD. I never made not one. My 12 years. Was it right? Was it the right thing to do? Would it work? And what can I do to make things better?
When asked about his accomplishments, Walkup doesn't say I. He said we.
Solved the water issue. We solved the transportation through the RTA. We connected downtown with the university. We put the soul back into the city. We made downtown enjoyable and full of life.
Walkup was also the mayor during Tucson's darkest hour, the January 8th shooting that left 6 dead and 13 others wounded, including Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Tucson physicians may not have been able to save Giffords if Walkup hadn't fought for a trauma center in this town. In 2001, both UMC and TMC said they were going to shut down their trauma centers, but Mayor Walkup wasn't about to let that happen.
I called up every hospital in Tucson and I said, get down to my office.
After that meeting, the wheels to build a world-class trauma center were set in motion. In January of 2008, UMC had a world-class trauma center, and it would be put to the test on day one.
On January 8th was the first day we had all the doctors and we had all the facility up and running. And at 10 minutes after 10 on that Saturday morning, we had double staff at the trauma center. We had everybody that we needed at the trauma center.
Walkup accomplished a great deal in his 12 years as mayor, but one achievement stands above the rest.
The thing I'm most proud about is I think I made a difference in Tucson being recognized as a knowledge-based global society with the highest quality of life and place for all of its people.
Walkup says he has just one regret.
I saw angry rhetoric show up in '06. I didn't take it seriously enough. And it got worse. It got worse. If there was one regret, was not rallying the people better for kindness and generosity and compassion.